Welcome to the Founder Family Podcast. My name is Chris Kwasi Coxon. I am an entrepreneur, author, and podcaster. And this show is about, you guessed it, innovation, entrepreneurship, and employability, worldwide and especially in Africa. We get tips and strategies to collaborate, grow through stories of incredible changemakers making waves in our world, from entrepreneurs, experts, to artists, community leaders, and beyond. Today I'm in Paris, France to report on the Viva Technology event, for which our partner Africa Arena organized an official side event to bring together African startups and investors from Europe and the US. I received Jonathan COKER from Amani Capital Partners, Nigeria.
Hi, Jonathan COKER from Amani Capital Partners. Amani Capital Partners was formed in September 2020 to support underrepresented and disadvantaged entrepreneurs with a focus on the Middle East and Africa. Our aim is to help the next, name it, Jobs, Zuckerberg, whatever, emerge from the Middle East and Africa and give us control of our future. Explore the European scene and see those startups and or investors that may have an interest in the Middle East and Africa, as well as get an understanding of those African and Middle Eastern startups that are pushing towards Europe, so that we can see where we can add value on both sides.
In comparison to what you've seen with the French startups here, compared to other events you've seen in Africa, Middle East, etc., what would be the difference that you see, or similarities?
So the difference is scale. For one, this is bigger. The environment is the environment is a little bit nicer, and there are some bigger names here. But the similarities is there's a lot of energy. There are a lot of people doing great work and trying to make things better for others. I will say the nice thing about this Vivatech in France is that you can see the collaborations between Luxembourg, Germany, France, and that is one thing that's lacking, that obvious governmental inputs in these events. For instance, in the African Tech Summit in Nairobi, there was not those sort of governmental, like Kenya and Uganda working together. And so I think there's some space for that to happen as we move forward.
What about, you heard about Smart Africa?
Yes.
Will you compare that to the relationship that you just mentioned, or you think that it is still in its infancy and needs to be nurtured, to be developed?
So Smart Africa, great organization. We thank you for the introduction, and we shall be with Smart Africa in Kigali next week. But Smart Africa is an organization in itself. My point is about the individual governments working together and putting effort to promote cross-country entrepreneurship. So Smart Africa definitely has its place. I would compare Smart Africa to parts of the EU or the OIF. But we also need, Nigeria and Ghana or Cameroon and Nigeria to be working together and have pathways that make it easier for those entrepreneurs to do business in each other's countries, and that would amplify the efforts of organizations like Smart Africa or OIF.
You heard about the African Continental Free Trade Zone area?
Yes.
What do you think about it, and do you see from an investor point of view, is it already part of your plans, or you see that it's going to be much more in the long term, 10 or 11 or 15 years, when it's going to actually start bringing fruits, if it makes sense.
Yes. So I think it's a brilliant idea with lots of regulatory challenges. It's going to take a long time for the many governments to align. But when they do align, it will make cross-country business much easier. It's in our plans for our clients at Amani Capital Partners. We have multiple clients, some in the fintech space, some in the digital identity space, and being able to share information or trust information across Africa will allow faster growth and new utilities and new products to be brought. It's just a challenge. It's a regulatory challenge. Once that's sorted, the entrepreneurs will pick up the baton and run. So it is in our plans, but at a very high level. It only really affects those payment facilitators or aggregators right now. We also involved one of our key clients, Okudu, which is a leading Middle Eastern identity solution provider, started by an African, a Sudanese. We're seeking to work with the likes of Smart Africa to see how we can standardize biometric identities across the continent and how they can be consumed without the sharing of private information. And that should help cross-border trade and entrepreneurship. So sorry for the long answer, but it's a kind of a yes for a little bit, but mainly no, because the governments, the big enterprises need to align, put the rails down, and then us entrepreneurs can start to use them.
For the listeners of this podcast that are in Africa, what are the criteria to apply to your fund?
That's a great question. Because we are we're a very small outfit, and we mainly our main product is advisory. We connect founders to capital and opportunity. So there is no fund as it stands right now for you to apply to, but there are very many accelerators, seed, and angel networks out in Africa that you can apply to. So I would suggest that as soon as you have an idea and you've tested it and you've proven it, you have some traction, and you are able to show that you understand your market, you understand your product, you understand how you're going to find product market fit, and you understand your path for growth, at least you believe you understand your path for growth, that is the point whereby you should go and apply to one of these accelerators or angel networks. For me, my advice would be, once you have a little bit of revenue and you have that clear path, try to give away as little as possible of your equity for as much value, and if in doubt, do it yourself. Don't take money too early, because that will cause you issues in the future.
So basically, you're inviting them to start with other actors at different level. So at which level, how do you actually place yourself into the investment ecosystem? You mentioned the business angels, etc. So what do you do? Where do you intervene?
So at the point where we have an entrepreneur who has a startup and that we believe in and we believe there's a growth, we will assist them in being seen by our network of funders, be it business angels, be it VCs, be it high net worth individuals, be it family offices. We assist them in being seen by these funders and hopefully give them a better chance of getting funding.
But how do you select them in the first place?
It's purely by introduction or relationships. We do not advertise. It's purely by introduction. Somebody who's within our network says, hey, we think X is great and this is the reason why. We'll have a couple of conversations, we'll review, and we have a very high bar because everything we do is personal. We're a small team and there's only so much one can do. So we do not just take anyone on because we don't have the capacity. But where we can, we always will try to give helpful suggestions and connect those startups that we cannot help directly to others like us, or to incubators, accelerators, etc., etc., etc.
Can you tell us about the team? Just officially, you said you started about a year ago, year and a half. Just where you're coming from, just to understand your background and how you can actually bring value.
Sure. So, Jonathan, myself, I founded the company with two other partners. My background is I'm Nigerian British. I have two partners who are also British, but one of Indian descent and one of Jamaican descent. We have diverse backgrounds. Myself is technology, consulting and delivery. My other partner, Raul, is from sales and business development, ex-Bloomberg, and other companies. And then we have our last partner, Amo, who's ex-management consultant and helped complete one of the largest acquisitions in the Middle East. So between us, we have a good spread of experience, and then we also leverage our network where we have very strong entrepreneurs and corporate support from all walks of life.
Last question, for your point of view, what is a successful Vivatech for you as a visitor or as an investor?
As an investor, I'm looking for opportunities where we, as Amani Capital Partners, can create value. Looking for startups or entrepreneurs that we can help with our current network of funders and startups, and also looking for investors that maybe we can help deploy their funds. A successful Vivatech for myself is coming away with a list of people that we may be able to add value to, both from the funding side and the entrepreneurship side.
Okay. And actually, another question, sorry, I said it was the last one before. You're participating into Africa Arena on Tuesday.
Yes.
Can you please give us your feedback on the event, how it was, connections? You tell me.
Africa Arena was, I think, a really good event. I understand it was the first time at that location, Station F. So there were some teething problems, but that notwithstanding, there was an amazing array of talent. I was there from 8:30 in the morning till past 6 p.m. An amazing array of talent. It's always great to see the breadth of startups across Africa. It was also really good to see the luminaries of investment in Africa in attendance. Having launched Africa, both senior partners present and other VCs was really good. And, I walked away with a whole list of follow-ups of people that we may be able to help and people that may be able to help us. So I will certainly be looking forward to attending the next Africa Arena as long as they continue the good work.
Any final words you want to add?
I would like to say to everyone on their entrepreneurship journey or supporting it as a Nigerian, born and bred, anyone that's helping Africa take control of its future and grow is doing a great job and should continue it. It's tough, very, very tough. It's hard. There are lots of challenges, but don't let that stop you. There's a bright future ahead, and the next sort of 50 years is the time for Africa to shine. So we're all part of building that, and keep going. We will reap the rewards.
This interview was brought to you by Founder Family, live from Paris, France, for the Viva Technology event, together with our partner Africa Arena. Subscribe to our social medias and our newsletter. Find all the details in the description and feel free to share.